Alright guys, so this video is going to be just a little bit different from what you normally see. My name's LT and normally we're in the shop, we're building trucks, we're doing engine swaps, wiring, forced induction, fabrication, all kinds of fun stuff that it takes to make a car or a truck go faster, perform better. That's what my channel is normally about. And I have a very technical, in-depth approach that I like to take and I choose to take on my content because I feel like it's valuable to share some of the information and knowledge that I've learned over the years because, get to pass it down and get to keep the car hobby going and keep people modifying stuff. And most of all, it is my passion and this is what I enjoy doing. So as an automotive content creator, I get to do what I love to do. And today I'm going to answer some questions that you guys have asked, over the years here and there. Things like, how much work does it take? Would you do it again? How much money do you make? And, what does it cost to run a channel? And I'll answer some of those questions. I don't feel comfortable asking or answering the money question, but that's like the one everybody wants to know. But the first thing I'll kind of do is overlay like my channel and kind of where I started. Back in September of 2020, I quit my job. I was working full-time doing something similar to what I do now, and I enjoyed that place. I enjoyed the career, but I just wanted to kind of get out on my own and do my own thing and start a shop and make automotive content. And when I first left, I had, I think it was like 6,500 subs or something like that back in September, a year and a half ago. And I definitely would not recommend you start your own YouTube channel like full time with that many subs. If I had a way to do it differently, I definitely would have been able to work a job and then get, 50,000 subs before I even thought about going full time. But just because of the circumstances of, I just had to do it that way. So I quit my job and we went all in and it has been a blast. Not to say it has not been stressful and it's definitely been a lot of work, but I got to admit, working for myself, I really, really enjoy what I'm doing. So in terms of the overall YouTube format, I started out by producing one video a week. So I tried to do stuff between like 17 and 25 minutes. And that seems to work out pretty good. And when I was making one video a week, progress was going pretty good. The channel grew at a reasonable rate, but I just felt like I needed to kick things up because if I made 2 videos a week, for example, that makes not necessarily twice the money, but it makes the channel grow quicker and it provides more content. And I think it keeps viewers engaged. If I had a way to do like, say, 3 or 4 videos a week, I would definitely do that. But the constraint, the limiting factor is just me. I am one person. I do the filming, I do the editing, I order the parts, I build the vehicles, and then all the other stuff that goes into running a channel on the back end that you guys don't see. Like just the process of uploading a video, for example, takes me about an hour by the time I optimize all the tags and make a thumbnail, and you're gonna try to title the video in a way that it makes sense. So speaking of title, one of the questions people ask me is like, well, what's a good way to make a video take off? And from what I have learned, the title of the video and the thumbnail that you put on the video are the most important thing that you can do. So if you have a title that's compelling, it gets people's interest and they click on it, well, that's great. But of course, you don't want to make a clickbait title because if you do that, then people are just they're gonna click away from the video, which actually hurts your overall channel performance. So I spend a lot of time, I use just an app on my iPhone to make the video thumbnails, and I use some, TubeBuddy is actually a tool that I use that you can look up different keywords and things like that and try to figure out which particular keywords will work well for your channel. So just the process of editing and uploading is probably a 5 to 6 hour process for each video. So there's almost a full day of my week gone just for one video. So with 2 videos a week, I figure about 10 to 12 hours is just editing and uploading at the computer. I start filming, so first of all, I make 2 videos a week, one on Thursday and one on Sunday. And I start Thursday's video on Monday morning. And then usually I film Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll edit Thursday morning and have it ready for Thursday afternoon. And so Thursday afternoon, Friday, and some of Saturday, I'm usually filming the video that pops up Sunday. And then some days that takes even longer. Now, I also do have sort of a side gig. I do freelance writing actually, and that takes a couple hours here and there every week as well. So my time is definitely like the biggest factor, the biggest constraint. The one thing I wish I had more of was more time, because if I could produce 3 videos a week, if I could, put some more time and polish the editing, and if I could, take these vehicle builds to the next level, I really, really want to do that. But of course, with just one person, you kind of have to try to manage your time wisely. And the project that I'm doing right now kind of is what sparked me and what made me decide to make this video right now, because what I'm doing is I'm in the middle of some wiring modifications, and you'll see this in the video that's going to go live on Thursday, I believe. But stuff like this is one of those things where it takes a lot of time. There's a lot of hours that go into actually completing the project, and all of those hours don't necessarily turn into minutes of content. So you got to do a lot of work to actually produce the video, but then you've also got to do the work just to finish the vehicle and make it functional, because everything I do, I try to do to the very best of my ability, and that does take time. But the great part about that is usually when I go for a test drive, I tend not to have a whole lot of issues pop up. Of course, every build has its problems, but I guess what I'm trying to say, and I know I'm going to be rambling a lot in this video, is to produce automotive content and to build the vehicles and to do everything as one person, it definitely takes a lot of time. And that's like the one thing I wish I had more of. I wish I had 30 hours a day I could be able to just work and then also have time to spend with my family and have a well-rounded life. Because, you know, these four walls, it's a great place to hang out, it's a great place to work, but this is not where I want to spend 24/7 of my life. So yeah, you want to be an automotive YouTuber, just be prepared for how much time it's going to take. The second thing I kind of wanted to talk about in a roundabout way is the finances of a channel like this, because that's the next most popular question people ask. Well, how much money do you make? Which, to be honest, I don't love answering that question. I don't really like to tell people, but I will say there are tools out there that you can find, and you can kind of estimate how much a content creator is going to make based on the size of their channel and things like that, which I've tried them before. Like, I've put my own name in there, and sometimes they're close, sometimes they're like way out of left field. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say about, you know, how much money the channel generates. But the thing that kind of offsets that is, like, how much money does it cost to build these vehicles? And that's like a huge variable. But every couple months, I will say, it seems like I've got to just like get the credit card out and spend a ton of money on parts, because I like to have stuff sort of like ready for the next month or 2 or 3 at a time. I want all my parts laid out and ready to go. For example, oh, and speaking of time, that's another sort of a consideration to make, is like this week, for example, I'm ordering all the parts that I needed to do the transmission build that's going to be coming up on this truck. So I've got to find a transmission, I've got to find the parts that I need to upgrade, things like a shift kit, different shafts, levers, and just all the little, you know, odds and ends that it takes to make a complete build. Takes a lot of time to find those, because it's not like you can just go on Summit and say, I want a 4L80E conversion kit for a 2000 Silverado, and everything's going to show up at your door. There's a lot of different places you got to order from. And then of course you try to shop around and find the best price. And like, I think this week it was about a day and a half of ordering parts that I need to do the 4L80 conversion on this truck. But those parts will probably stretch out over, in terms of video content, over a couple of weeks, maybe a month, because I'm going to be rebuilding the transfer case, for example. I'm going to swap out the input shaft in the transfer case and put a shift kit in, a different torque converter, and, you know, we'll get to all that later. But so we've got time for editing, we've got time for filming, time for ordering parts, time for writing, and, you know, time for actually building. So yeah, the common theme of this video is be prepared to spend a lot of time in the shop and in the office if you're going to make videos in the way that I do. So one more thing I kind of wanted to talk about in terms of the finances of a channel like this is actually the business side of things and other ways that you can use a YouTube channel to generate revenue. And the biggest one that is now starting to finally happen for my channel in particular is sponsored content. Now, I know that's probably not everybody's favorite thing to see, but as soon as my channel kind of reached around 65 to 70,000 subscribers, I noticed a lot more, you know, ad agencies and, you know, brands directly reaching out saying, hey, we'd love to integrate our product into one of your videos. And of course, you know, that's just one more way that the channel can make revenue. And any money we make basically goes right back into supporting these projects and buying parts so I can continue to make these trucks cooler and faster and basically create more content with. So like I said, very thankfully, we do have some sponsored content coming up, so that definitely is awesome. That definitely helps. And then from there, I wanted to talk about some future goals for the channel, because a lot of you guys have asked, you know, what are your plans? Do you want to get into a shop? I made a video about a year ago saying like, all right, this is my plan for the next year. I want to open a custom shop. I want to be able to get into a building. And like, I still definitely want to be able to get into a space that's a little bit larger than my home garage, because I'm working in a home residential garage, and I'm sure my neighbors absolutely hate driving by, seeing the door open and seeing me wrenching every day. But yeah, whatever, that's part of it. But anyway, I still am trying to find a suitable location, a proper shop, so I can continue to make these videos in. And I've even thought about trying to, at some point, open up for business to the public, build vehicles for people. And in the past, last year, I actually did 2 or 3 vehicle builds. And I love doing that stuff, but the odd thing is, whenever I noticed in terms of like YouTube analytics and stuff like that, whenever I was working on those projects for other people, like my YouTube analytics kind of suffered, and I wasn't entirely sure if there was a correlation between those two things, or maybe if it was just like a seasonal thing, because that's the other thing worth mentioning is, there are certain times of the year, like the fall between like say September and December, YouTube ad rates are really, really great, or they were for my channel. But the first of the year, things kind of fall off a little bit. And it's seasonal. There's certain times of the year when companies want to spend more money on advertising. And that just directly impacts how much money your YouTube channel makes. So anyway, going back to the builds though, for whatever reason, maybe it was just the type of vehicle that it was, or maybe it was just the fact that it wasn't a vehicle that I owned. I'm not sure, but it seemed like the viewership seemed to go down just a little bit. So after about September or so of last year, when I finished up my last build, I was kind of like, let me try do a 6 or a 12-month stint of just working on my own stuff and see if it actually has a positive impact on the viewers and the the revenue that the channel makes. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Is I'm not taking on any customer builds right now. I know I have said that about a year ago. I said, look, I want to do some customer builds. I did a couple of them, and I'm very appreciative of those customers. But just for now, I'm not taking on any more work. But that still means, or that I still do need a little bit larger space to work in, because I'm kind of outgrowing where I'm at right now. Like, I've got a fair amount of room to work indoors, but outdoors I don't have as much parking spots as I wish I had. I just brought my trailer back from the storage place because we finally got the HOA thing settled where I could get a fence up and get the trailer parked out beside my house, because that's another thing, which is completely ridiculous in my opinion. But the neighborhood that we're in, when we first moved here, I had my trailer parked outside. It's just like it's a 22-foot flat deck trailer. And it's not like it's an old or a rusty or an obnoxious looking trailer, but we had it parked out beside the house. There's a cement pad over there for trailer parking, but because there was no fence at the time, they're like, well, you're not allowed to have it parked there. So whatever, I didn't fight the issue. We just found a local trailer storage place and I kept it there. But since then, luckily, we have a fence now, and I have the trailer sitting behind the fence, even though it's a steel fence with slats. So you can still see the trailer, but somehow that makes it okay. But anyway, I did promise a lot of rambling in this video. I still am trying to find some sort of a suitable rental location or a shop that I can put a couple of vehicles inside and have more room to work. So the bad thing is where I live a little bit south of Salt Lake City, is the real estate market around here has been completely nuts over the past couple of years, and rental prices and shop prices have just gone up and up and up, and every month I'm like, this is ridiculous. And I don't know, but hopefully very soon, maybe within the next year, we'll be able to get this YouTube channel operating in a shop where I have a little bit more room to work. I can bring 2 vehicles in at the same time. I can be working on 2 projects at once, and then maybe we'll get to the point where you can also have some help, like someone helping turn wrenches, or someone doing some videoing or editing for me. Because remember, that one factor of how much time there is during the day, obviously if I have another body in here helping me out, we can split that workload, and that'll make life hopefully a lot simpler. So that's kind of my take on it. That's my experiences as an automotive YouTuber. And I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, because I am having a blast doing it. It's a lot of work, but I'm okay with that. I don't mind putting in the hours, because this is something that is directly benefiting me long term. I'm building something that's hopefully going to continue to grow and be sustainable, and I get to work on my own stuff. I get to build cool cars, and I really, really love doing what I'm doing. So I owe a huge thank you to you guys, the subscribers, the viewers who watch these videos. because without you, I could not do this. I could not build what I love to do. So thank you so much. We're going to continue to grow, hopefully long term. I eventually want to get this channel to the point where we get 1 million subs or maybe even more. And I know we can make that happen. It's a long-term growth plan. We've got a couple years. But the next major milestone is 100,000. I just cannot wait. I am so excited. I want to get that silver play button stuck up on the wall. Like, that's the next major milestone we've been trying for a while now. So I'm really, really excited to make that happen. I'm excited for some events that we have coming up. We've even thought about, talking with a wife, we've even talked about kind of doing like our own little, not like a meet and greet, but like maybe like we'll find a track somewhere to rent and then, have some sort of whether that's roll racing or drag racing or, if you guys would be down for that, like, let me know. Like, let's say I could rent Utah Motorsports Campus or a part of it, and we do like a roll race get together, or I don't know. I mean, there's no drag strips around here. That's the worst part about it. But anyway, yeah, I think the ramble session is pretty much over. But thank you guys. If I've said it 1 million times already, though, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. In summary, it's a lot of work, takes a fair amount of money. It makes a decent amount of money, and I really, really love being an automotive YouTuber. So if you want to get into it, or if you have any other questions specifically that I haven't answered in this video, drop me an email. I'm all about sharing knowledge and helping you guys out. So thank you for watching. I'll catch you again soon.